Thank you very much. You may be seated. Order, honorable members. Can we have order, please? Honorable delegates, before we continue, let me remind you that the rules that apply is the rules and the processes for a hybrid sitting. I want to make the following announcements: that all delegates that are physically in the chamber must connect to the virtual platform as well as insert the cards to register on the chamber system. Switch off the sound on all gadgets and ensure that the microphones on the gadgets are muted and remain muted at all times. Use the floor microphones and wear the mask at all times. Seats are marked for a purpose, so occupy that seat. And at all times, try to maintain social distancing from one another. If you speak, those that are on the virtual platform, please switch on your videos. Any delegates who wishes to speak must use the raise hand function. We will make sure that we get notified when your hand have been raised. And there is allowance for participation in the discussion through the chat room, but not just for some remarks and things, but for meaningful participation. We have been informed that there will be no notices of motion or motions without notice in terms of Council Rule 247. Before we proceed to the questions, let me take this opportunity to welcome the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, and let me also welcome all honorable delegates, special as well as permanent delegates, to the sitting. And I would like to make the following remarks before we continue. The time for reply by the Deputy President to a question is 5 minutes. Only 4 supplementary questions are allowed per question, and a member who has asked the initial question would be the first to be afforded an opportunity to ask a supplementary question. Supplementary questions, 2 minutes. The time for reply to a supplementary question is 4 minutes, and the question must emanate from the initial question. And I just want to mention that there will be some few amendments to the list of people that will be responsible for questions and follow-up questions. That will be announced in due course. So if the Deputy President is ready and connected, we will now call on the Honorable Deputy President to respond to question number 19, is asked by the Honorable S.J. Mohai. Honorable Deputy President, over to you. The Deputy President have earlier indicated that he will join virtually.
Thank you very much. Honorable Deputy Chair, am I audible?
Yes, indeed you are.
Thank you very much. Deputy Chair, let me start by expressing our sincere gratitude to the millions of our people that voted in the recently held local government elections. We note with humility their continued faith in the democratic projects of building the country and their unwavering hope to promote to the promise of a better life that we all aspire to realize. With their vote, Deputy Chair, a social contract to work with their freely elected representatives in order to improve the quality of life of all citizens and to free the potential of each person as envisaged in the preamble of our Constitution has been renewed. We say this for it is important to underscore the importance of working together with no politicizing of service delivery, and to do so with speed in order to improve the quality of life of all our people. Secondly, we reaffirm that all municipalities remain a priority in meeting people's basic needs. Access to basic services such as water, sanitation, electricity, and refuse removal is what makes our living spaces livable. Municipalities are there to ensure that people's quality of life and living conditions are of the desired standard that safeguards and guarantees human dignity. Honorable Deputy Chair, our rapid response measures aim to address in good time any emergent challenges at municipal level to prevent the collapse of services to our people. We do so for we are mindful of prevalent institutional challenges faced by a number of municipalities. Some of the areas that require improvement are on leadership capacity, managerial capacity, technical and project execution, especially in infrastructure projects, as well as financial management skills to ensure sustainability of all our municipalities. Obviously, some of these challenges and weaknesses are well documented by the Auditor General as part of our financial and performance audit outcomes. For instance, in the report of municipal audit outcome presented in July 2021, the Auditor General confirms that the audit results under the outgoing administration are showing little signs of improvement from previous administration. The Department of Cooperative Governance has identified through the 2021 State of Local Government Report 64 municipalities as dysfunctional and needing urgent support. These high-risk municipalities, as characterized by, among others, infighting, poor weakness, weak decision collection, decision making, poor performance, lack of consequence management, poor collections of revenue, and poor response to service delivery complaints. Unfortunately, such failures have a ripple effect on finances of municipalities and inevitably the quality and speed of service delivery. Therefore, we should look into these performance challenges and provide targeted programs with a view of improving the performance of our municipalities. The Department of Cooperative Governance and National Treasury are working in collaboration with other sector departments, SALGA, provincial governments, municipalities in developing implementation plan to address the issues identified in the report. These plans will be implemented as soon as our respective councils are sworn into office in the coming days. One of the critical areas needing prioritization is the network infrastructure investment and maintenance, especially fixing the crumbled water and sanitation infrastructure. Dilapidated water infrastructure as well as poorly managed operation and maintenance of this infrastructure in small and major towns have resulted in the inadequate supply of quality water that impact on the life and dignity of our people. It is for this reason, Deputy Chair, that the Interministerial Committee on Water and Sanitation exists as an institutional coordination platform to respond to institutional weaknesses and challenges in the efficient and effective management and delivery of water services at local government level. As Parliament, we should prioritize support, improve and strengthen our oversight function on local government affairs, and work together in ensuring that municipalities have political stability and focus on people-centered service delivery. Let us not let our people and our country down. Let us work together to restore their dignity. Thank you very much, Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy President. Honorable Moai, is there any follow-up question?
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. The ANC joins the Deputy President in saluting millions of South Africans for participating in the recent local government elections, thus strengthening the democratic project in our country. We also want to thank you, Comrade Deputy President, for your response and for always responding promptly to confirm your availability to appear before the Council. The 2021 local government elections highlighted enormous work that we still have to do to ensure quality and dignified living conditions for our people. Deputy President, as one of the senior leaders who was in the forefront of mobilizing our people to participate in their numbers to vote, has your office developed a list of critical areas that will form part of your program to help change the state of some of the municipalities that you visited during the campaign, especially about poor infrastructure? Comrade Deputy President, we are aware that you have been driving some of the interventions to assist some of the struggling municipalities in the country, even before these local government elections. I thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Moai. Deputy President, you may respond.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. Thanks to the follow-up question from the Chief Whip. Yes, we are going to focus our attention on mainly on the 64 municipalities as identified by court. Of course, that does not mean that would turn a blind eye to all the municipalities that are struggling. So we are going to utilize the district development model as a platform where national government and provincial government and the local government can meet and blend together. The situation where our people live is very dire. We saw sewer running in their streets. We saw taps that are dry. There's no water. There are no roads. So our people are yearning for services. Now, we are waiting for this municipal council to just confirm the leadership of these municipalities so that we can start hit the road running and attend to these ailing infrastructure that continues to disrupt services that are meant for our people. This we're going to do working together as the three spheres of government. Thank you very much, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. Honorable Ryder, the next follow-up goes to you.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Thank you, Deputy President. Now, you've mentioned yourself, you've gone into some detail now about the failures in local government and the fact that councillors are not really doing what they're doing. In fact, many of them don't know what their job is. They think that all they should be required to do is to sit in council and yell agreed when their political bosses try and pass motions through council. But the Deputy Minister of Culture recently also feigned surprise when she found out that 62% of councillors don't know how to use a computer. Now, the fact is that communities elect their representative, they elect their councillors. And so using a computer should not be a prerequisite for office. The only prerequisite should be that the councillor is representative of their community. But during the term of office, and certainly nearing the end of the term of office, when the comment was made by the Deputy Minister, councillors should be sufficiently upskilled that they can do their jobs well. If this is not the responsibility of COGTA to facilitate, then I wonder what your Deputy Minister, and of course the Minister herself, have been doing in their offices for the past few years. Surely training and upskilling of councillors, which would help service delivery in local government, lies at the feet of the COGTA department. What consequences will there be? We all talk about consequence management, Deputy President. What consequences will there be now that the people of South Africa, by staying away from the elections held recently, have shown their disdain for the process? What consequences will there be for the Minister of COGTA for her failure to uplift the state of local government over the last 2.5 years that she's been in office?
Honourable Deputy President, over to you.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. And thanks to the question from Honourable Reda. Well, Honourable Reda, you correct that it is not really the duty of a respective councillor to know how to use a computer before he or she can be a councillor. And the community would choose anyone according to them who's fit, who can lead them. Now, it is also the responsibility of the very same council to ensure that councillors that are working in that municipality are fully capacitated. Council should put aside money to empower their own. Yes, it is also the responsibility of a provincial government, the MEC for Finance and the MEC for COGTA, to also support these municipalities in their respective provinces. It is also, yes, the responsibility of our Minister of COGTA to also support, but that must start with the council itself. Remember, we've got 3 spheres of government. We can only come in where there was a request that was made to the provincial government and to the national government. But we're taking this comment very serious, because some of the failures that we've observed is due to the lack of necessary skills and capacity from these councillors to do their work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy President. The next will be Honourable Mokause.
Deputy Chair, I will take it on her behalf.
Can we please not can we have order in this house? Why is the table not informed that you are going to take the question now? Because I've got the latest just now from the Secretary. I don't want chaos in the house. I just want us to respect one another. I think you were supposed to inform the table that the question will be taken by someone else. It is just common decency. And can we just follow that procedures? We will allow it for now, but I don't think if I sit here again, it will happen. Can you please continue? The problem is that as soon as you allow things, it becomes kind of a common cause, and it's not going to happen. Can we continue? No, but can we just respect one another? Order here. Continue, or you are not going to ask the question. Learn to respect procedures. You may continue before I change my mind.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Even though I don't see any chaos there, because we have a right to discuss amongst ourselves. Deputy President, year after year, the Auditor General published audit reports, like you mentioned, and we all know what the problems are, but there seems to be a little appetite to deal with the issues head on. Municipal officials and their political heads, they do as they please because there are no consequence management. What has the government done? If you can clarify there, what has the government done or is going to do in order to ensure that there is consequence management for those who repeatedly ignore the recommendation of the Auditor General? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair. Well, the government has done a lot of things to try and intervene. Firstly, you'll be aware that as the National Council of Provinces, you also supported a number of interventions, Section 139A, 139B, 139C, taken by provinces, because all of us should concur that in that municipality we need to intervene because services have collapsed. We have done so into a number of municipalities. But some did succeed, some did not. After lifting of the intervention, they relapsed. Well, we have noted that the main challenge that is affecting our municipalities is leadership. If there's constant quibbling and fighting at the leadership level, the mayor, the speaker, and the chief whip, these are the very important people that must run and see to it that the business of council is done in a manner that respects and honors the people that they've elected. Now, most of the time, that has been lacking, and a lot of leaders have been removed, some replaced at a political level. A number of administrators, CEO, municipal managers have been removed. The turnover of municipal managers in our municipalities very high. Turnover of our mayors in our institutions very high. This indicates that our local councils are not stable. So this time around, I agree also with the point made by Honorable Reda to say we need to support, skill these people so that they can focus on their work and support them. Now that we've got this district development model, that will allow us to monitor exactly what these councils are doing on a daily basis. We think this platform will be very helpful. So we are going to develop plans at the district level. The plans will involve national government, provincial government, and that particular municipality, whether it's a district municipality, whether it's a local municipality. So all of us are supposed to account at that platform, whether you're a district, whether you're a local municipality, whether you're a province, whether you're a national department. So that all of us, if we've agreed to deliver certain services, we must do so without failure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The next follow-up goes to Honorable De Bruin. The next follow-up goes to Honorable De Bruin. Honorable Makause, you are
Deputy
rising on.
Chairperson.
You are rising on.
I'm rising on a point of order, Deputy Chairperson.
And your order is?
Deputy Chairperson, it's only logical and making sense that when a province rises on a question, the next follow-up comes from the similar question but on the opposition benches. You should be knowing that. So there was no need to be absolutely pumped up about the EFF mixing of names. Moletane comes from the Free State. I just needed to correct you, Deputy Chairperson. When you sit at that chair, you should be knowing the rules. Thank you,
Is
Deputy
there an
Chair.
order? Is
Yes.
there any order that you want to make? What is your order? Because I still didn't hear that order. Can we, yes, Honorable Moai? If
The questions are on the names of members of the House. And it is irrelevant, it's uncalled for, that attack to the Deputy Chairperson. The Deputy Chair understands the rules of the House. Thanks.
Honorable members, may we continue? Honorable De Bruin, you make,
Thank you, Deputy
the
Chair.
next follow-up is from you, and let me apologize to you for that disturbance. Continue.
No problem. Thank you, Deputy Chair. Deputy President, with the projected cash flow of about 50 billion rand for municipalities over the midterm or the medium term, it is inevitable to think that there will be much more failed municipalities where interventions will be needed. Have you extended the capacity of the intervention teams to compensate for this, and if so, to what extent? Thank you.
Honorable Deputy President, I hope you got the question.
I'm sorry, Deputy Chair, the sound was faltering a bit, so I could not get the question clear.
I also, I could really, we also couldn't hear. Honorable De Bruin, if you don't mind, can you just repeat the question, please?
Okay, surely. I was asking Deputy President, with the projected cash shortfall of 50 billion rand for municipalities over the medium term, it is inevitable that we will see more and more failed municipalities where interventions will be needed. Have you extended the capacity of intervention teams to compensate for this, and if so, to what extent? Thank you.
Did you get the question, Honorable Deputy President?
Yeah, I think I've heard the question about the 50 billion shortfall, money that is supposed to go to local government. Well, it's a situation that we're facing as a country that, given the current pandemic, the economy, we're supposed to spend what we have. But we think the district development platform will be able to help us to combine the resources that we have as government. For instance, if the Department of Water and Sanitation can work together with the province, the Department of Culture in a province, and work together with a municipality or a district, we can be able to deliver water to our people. Working together with the Department of Mineral and Energy, together with the Department of Culture in a province, we can be in a position to deliver electricity to our people. So this kind of a platform is fostering us to use our resources sparingly and in a purposeful manner. And we're able to measure the performance of the plans that were put together, and we're able to monitor ourselves. Yes, the money that the shortfall, it's very dire, it's a huge amount, but I think working together can undermine the shortfall, and we can deliver services in a faster way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy President. We will now go to question number 20. Honorable Deputy President, is asked by Honorable T.J. Brata-Seth.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair. Following the July unrest and violence that led to more than 359 deaths, law enforcement agencies are still busy with investigations against all criminal acts and violence of looting that took place during that period. In line with the dictates of our constitutional democracy that subscribes to the rule of law and equality before the law for every citizen. Therefore, there is no justification to mention the names of those accused in this House, as it is a matter of public knowledge that some of those accused of inciting the unrest have already appeared in courts. In each of those cases where there is evidence of criminal conduct, such individuals will be prosecuted in accordance with the laws of our country. We are pleased that the affected provinces of KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng are starting to normalize, and business and logistic networks are back to full operations. People's security and livelihoods have been restored in the main. As for what measures has government taken to ensure the security of the country and its people, the President has appointed a panel of experts to conduct a thorough assessment of the country's response to deal with such incidences in future. Upon the conclusion of this work, this panel, Parliament will have the opportunity to engage with the findings and recommendations thereof. In the final analysis, the events and subsequent aftermath of the July unrest, it's a stark reminder that the project of building and consolidating a democratic society that is inclusive and reflective of the aspirations of our people as contained in our Constitution is still far from being over. We'd like to acknowledge the support of all partners in finding practical solutions to the problems on the ground and who have supported efforts to restore calm in various affected areas during the post the unrest period. The extent of poverty and inequality in our country, especially in the affected communities of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, suggests that we must work together and harder across political divide to deepen anti-poverty programs in order to ensure that we achieve an inclusive growth as we enhance social cohesion. Public sentiments to the possibility of a better South Africa should be constantly kept alive through concrete improvement to the socio-economic conditions of our people. Doing so as a country, it's in our collective interest. For as long as the poor feel that the system is leaving them behind and is benefiting only a few people, we run a risk of this section of our people opting out of the democratic process. Therefore, it is incumbent upon all of us to find shared solutions to ensure that such incidences never repeat themselves. Thanks, Honorable Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. Honorable Brata-Seth, is there a follow-up question?
There is indeed a follow-up question. Thank you, Deputy Chair. Deputy President, I must take issue with you. If you were to visit Durban, you would know that there are many, many, many businesses, especially in the Springfield Industrial Park, that are still not open. Perhaps you should come and do an oversight visit sometime. Mr. Deputy President, your attempted obfuscation today lays bare the reality that your government will not act against those in the golden circle of influence. We all know what the unrest was about. We all know that it was geared to liberate former President Jacob Zuma from prison. We all saw the Zuma children on social media calling for this, calling for the unrest, calling for all the problems. And today, you cannot give us one name. The people of South Africa are not fools, Deputy President. The people of South Africa demand answers. When will you and your government put South Africa first and the ANC and its cronies a distant second? I thank you, Deputy Chair.
Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Deputy Chairperson. From where I'm sitting, Honourable Deputy Chairperson, more than 18 people have been arrested. And that process, like I've said, is currently before the courts of our country. Now, let's leave that. Let's leave the institutions that were put in place. Now, if by any chance we have got some information that can help our police, can help our justice system, we should step forward and give that information, because we want to restore order in our country, and we want those who are involved to finally be accountable. So we know where to go. And I'll encourage our people to report such cases to our law enforcement agencies. I also take note that as much as we say the situation is back to normal, we understand that there are businesses that have put application to SASRIA for support. The Department of Trade and Industry and Competition. Now, a lot of work is being done to support small businesses by the Department of Small Business. So all the interventions are starting to take root. Yes, it will take time to restore some of the businesses that were destroyed, that were banned. But as we can see now, our national routes are all open, trucks are moving in, they're carrying some logistical items. So life is beginning to take root again. This we must encourage, and we must encourage the donation by good Samaritans that came into the space to help our people in the time of need. So the situation will improve, but let's wait for the report so that as a country, as these houses, we can discuss and make recommendations to the President in terms of how best we think such situations can be avoided in future. So thank you, Honourable Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy President. The next follow-up will be from Honourable Mtetwa.
Ngiyabonga Mongameli, sekela Mongameli we-South Africa. Ngibonga nokuthi nje uvuma ukusho ukuthi ama-systems ethu yiwo lawa lenza isimo sibe nzima. Bese senza ukuthi noma ngayiliphi ilunga lomphakathi lizithole seliyi-victim yebantu labalwisana nestate. baze balwisane nedemocratic yethu ngala ma system labangawaboni ukuthi asebenza kanjani and asebenza kancane. Mongameli, umbuzo wami ke usekuthenini to what extent is the social relief grant is assisting government to respond to the immediate relief in addressing hunger, poverty in our community, especially given the ravaging impact of COVID-19. Sibonge nokuthi lapha KZN ko Phoenix ekhona ne commission lelwisana nalento bokhuluma ngayo kuyinamhlanje. Siye nalapha eSpringfield lakhuluma khona umnumzane Raketbed ukhona lese sikubona kwenzeka kusukela manje ukhombisa ukuthi kuyasilungisa lesa simo. Ngiyabonga mongameli.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mtetwa. Honorable Deputy President, I'm sure you got the question.
Yes, thanks, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. Well, right from the onset, I must say that the 350 rand, we know very well that is far from addressing the needs of our people. Now, if you give a family the 350 rand, that family will still remain below the poverty line. But we are of the view that at least you'll have provided a relief. We are providing this relief because we're quite aware of the dire situation our people are facing on a daily basis. We're quite aware of the high number of unemployment in our country because of a number of factors that are caused by the challenges that we are facing. In the main, COVID-19. A lot of companies have closed. You know very well. Now, it will take a collective effort to get the economy back on track. This is what the President said when he presented the recovery plan. The recovery plan is constantly disrupted by these very pandemics that are affecting the country, in the main COVID-19. And we've lost a lot as a country in terms of livelihoods, in terms of life. So we should shoulder on, but ensure that our people should not die of hunger. So that is the impression and our thinking about this 350. It is not adequate, but it goes a long way to assist our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President.
Chairperson.
Honorable Ntube, you will be asking on behalf of Honorable Ngwezi.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Chairperson of the Council, the Chief Whip, and Honorable Deputy President. The looting and destruction in KZN exposed cracks in social cohesion and point to a bigger problem concerning unity of South Africa. Honorable Deputy President, the state is a permanent entity and the ANC contests power so that it can capture a state to advance its policies to change the livelihoods of our people. We want to check with you, Honorable Deputy President, what steps are you taking to ensure that in future differences in diversity will not be exploited in a similar manner, and how will you build a peace among the affected communities? And lastly, how will you measure the success of these steps? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ntube. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson, and thanks for the question. from the youngest in our council. Well, the challenge before us demands a reaction from all South Africans. The project of building an inclusive society, a democratic society, it can't be relegated to the ruling party, the ANC, as government. This project should be pursued by all South Africans without failure. Why? Because the issues that seeks to threaten South Africa, issues like gender-based violence, it's an issue that all of us must stand up and fight it, because if we don't, this is going to destroy the very essence of our democratic project. Issues like racism. Racism, it's a cancer that must be destroyed because it divides and undermines our democratic project. So, as these institutions of Parliament should be in the forefront to drive social cohesion, deal with gender-based violence wherever it rears its ugly head, deal with racism, mind our language in these corridors of Parliament, because we are leaders of the people, we must lead by example. It can't be relegated to a government department, government institutions. Yes, I agree that government institutions carry a lot of responsibility, but equally so, our people must also play their part. One other thing that can undermine our democratic project is poverty. Poverty knows no line, knows no color. Poverty affects people across the spectrum. It is our responsibility as a nation to fight poverty and uplift those that are at the lower rung of our society. If we don't do so, those people who are poor, who are hungry, they will get disinterested to the democratic project. Probably, I'm not saying that it's a fact. Probably that is why some people are starting to stay out of the voting process. Because the voting process supports our democratic project. If people are starting to stay away from the voting process, that means they don't see the benefit or the fruits of being a voter, constantly voting in every 5 years. Now we must encourage our people to stand up and build this democratic process for the sake of all of us. Social cohesion, it's our responsibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The last follow-up on question 20 will be Honorable S.A. Lutuli.
Ngibonge Sekela Hlalo. Sekela Mongameli, okwenzeke KwaZulu-Natal kanye nase Gauteng was racial profiling of black people by both racist and the state. Ubandlululo lubonakala luyinto esijwayelekile lapha eNingizimu Afrika yize noma sithi sathola inkululeko ngonyaka ka1994. Umbuzo wamsekela mongameli uthi awucabangi ukuthi lesimemezelo esenziwe umongameli uRamaphosa sokuthi kusazozilelwa lo owayengumbulali engumhlukumezi futhi ehlukumeza abantu abamnyama uDe Klerk kufana nokuvuvuzela usawoti kanye nespirits emanxebeni asavuza igazi kubantu baseNingizimu Afrika. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Honorable Julie. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chairperson. And thanks to the question. To try and respond to the question, well, it's not about the president, it's not about former President F.W. de Klerk. It's about us. It's about our country and where we come from. We are coming from those painful days. It was very difficult to emerge out of that pain. Well, if we can go back, all of us have got stories to tell. Painful stories that can discourage us from going forward. We might tear ourselves apart. We might be angry. But we've got a duty to restore peace, to restore justice and democracy in this country. So my appeal is that reconciliation is necessary from a country like ours. We're coming from a divided past. We've lost too many people. Some we don't know where they've been buried. They were missing in action. Some families are not able to find closure. But we've got an obligation to take a step forward and move on. I understand the pain that you're having, Honorable Member. But where you are now a leader that must lead this country out of that pain. There are too many people that are feeling this pain, but you must give them the assurance that tomorrow will be better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. We will now proceed to question number 21, as asked by Honorable Matibe, and Honorable Ndongeni will represent Honorable Matibe in this instance. Over to you, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair. At the presidential level, we have two coordinating structures established by the President to address prevailing challenges within Eskom and other state-owned companies. The first is the Eskom Political Task Team chaired by the Deputy President, which continues to provide political leadership and support to ensure that Eskom is able to meet its obligation of providing electricity, and that Eskom implements a credible and a transparent national maintenance program to ensure that power generation plants operate at optimal levels to reduce negative impact of electricity supply. The second coordinating structure is the Presidential State-Owned Enterprise Council, established to reposition and strengthen the governing framework of state-owned companies, as well as to address their liquidity challenges, including implementing turnaround strategies. Whereas the Eskom Political Task Team serves as an institutional coordinating platform, that brings together key players within government to provide leadership and technical assistance towards the resolution of challenges facing Eskom. The Presidential State-Owned Enterprises Council focuses on prioritization of critical state-owned companies that have got a greater impact on our economy. In the main, the Presidential State-Owned Enterprise Council identifies specific intervention to stabilize and strengthen our state-owned enterprises, financial and operational performance, reduce reliance on the fiscus, and ensure that they repurposed to align with the national priorities. Both these structures are working towards assisting Eskom to develop decisive interventions to address their poorly performing generation business and other pressing and persisting challenges. We must stress that the challenges at Eskom has not been with the quality of advice or plans, but rather the resources, services, and funding required to implement some of the interventions on power generation. It is therefore our view that an additional panel of experts will not improve the situation, and we remain open to specific ideas that can contribute to further improvements. Equally, the board of Eskom has been urged to review existing weaknesses that continue to affect the performance of the utility and ensure that we resolve operational challenges. The management of the utility is also doing its best to focus on intensive maintenance and management of the aging power generation fleet to avoid breakages that lead to collapse in generation and ultimately power outages. As government, we are cognizant of the impact of and the inconvenience of inadequate electricity supply on our people's daily lives and its devastation to the country's economic growth. Collectively, this undermines development and delivery of critical services on a predictable basis across society. Honorable members should be rest assured that measures are being undertaken to ensure that the negative impact of load shedding is minimized in order to avoid the total collapse of energy-intensive economic sectors such as mining and manufacturing.